Hey, how's it going? Welcome back. My name's Kevin. It's day 5 of the fingerpicking series. A bittersweet end to what has been a lot of fun this series. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I hope you've learned something. I hope you feel like you're ascending in your fingerpicking and really starting to enjoy it and feel comfortable. In today's lesson, we're going to check out a new pattern that only requires your thumb and your index finger, but it's a little more intricate than the last pattern that we did. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but don't be scared. Take it slow. So get tuned up and let's dig into this. We got a lot of play-alongs today. I can't wait to show you this new pattern. As I mentioned, we're going to use our thumb and our index finger. So first things first, let's revisit some of those fundamentals. Make sure your pinky is married to the base of the uke. Your hand is in good position, coming at about a 45-degree angle across the uke. Also make sure that your hand is flat. You don't want to be up like this. You want to have a nice, comfortable resting position. Maybe that means that you're lifting up your leg to kind of raise the uke so that it's in a better position for you. And also, make sure that you can see it. You don't want to have it tilted forward so you can't see what you're doing, and you don't ever want to play like this. Don't do it. So, just nice, comfortable. You want to see the sound hole here. So the pattern starts with your thumb. So the thumb hits the G string first, followed by index hitting the A string. Now, that's all you have to worry about with your index finger. You're in luck. You're going to hit the A string every time with your index finger. The only thing that changes is your thumb. So, thumb, index. Now, the thumb is going to hit the C string. Thumb, and then index again on the A string. And then the thumb moves down to hit the E string. And then we hit the A string again. And that is the pattern. So let me just demonstrate that for you nice and slow. So we go thumb, index, thumb, index, thumb, index. G, A, C, A, E, A. So if you need to pause the video and just work on that for a few minutes, totally cool. Let's check out this pattern together. And we're not going to do anything with our fretting hand at this point. We're just going to solely focus here on our picking hand. And little side note here, watch your hand as you're doing this. If you're drifting off into space, it's going to kind of mess with your precision. So you really want to just kind of keep your eyes focused here on your picking hand. So let's try this together nice and slow, and I'll call out the strings as we go through it. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, A, C, A, E, A, G, A, C, A, E, A, G, A, C, A, E, A. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, wow, this sounds kind of weird. But once you get this moving a little bit more, it sounds really cool. All right, so I should mention this. This pattern is in 3. So from now on, I'm going to count in 1, 2, 3. Because as we do this pattern, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and just so there's no confusion as you go here. So we're going to stay with the open strings. And we're going to do this pattern a little bit faster so you can hear what it actually would sound like in the context. So again, open strings, and I'm going to count in 1, 2, 3 this time. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. Keep it going. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and one more time. 2 and 3 and such a beautiful pattern. So now we're going to take this and implement it into just playing one chord. So I want you guys to hear what this sounds like with just a C chord. So the cool thing about this pattern is it's really just pedaling that A string the whole time, so it really creates this kind of fluttering thing that happens, and I don't know, I just really like it. So here we go with just one chord, the C chord, nice and slow, and then we'll bump up the tempo a little bit. So here we go again with a 3 count. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, 3, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 more and 2 and 3 and... Now let's take the tempo up about 20% here. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. Couple more time, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Last 1 and 2 and 3 and... All right, so it's time for a little bit of the segment I call Side Notes. So, some of you have asked me in the comments about fingernail length, and I thought to myself, wow, that's definitely a point that we need to talk about, because I have a lot of students that I teach that come in and they just say, oh, hey, Kevin, I just got my nails done. And I go, oh no, that's not good. Well, it is good, but the problem is sometimes if your nails are too long, you get this really rigid sound on these nylon strings. So fingernail length on both hands is something I like to keep shorter. So with my fretting hand, I definitely keep my fingernails shorter than the actual pads of my fingertips, because I don't want my fingernails digging into the fretboard, because that makes it more difficult to actually get the notes to ring out. Sometimes you'll get these little buzzing notes, or the string won't completely be compressed. That could be part of the reason, is the fingernails. So keep them short. And then on the finger picking hand as well, I keep a little bit of length on my thumb, index, and middle finger. The other ones I keep short, and yeah, I'm sure people question my hand and say, why do you have 3 longer nails? But they're not too long. They're about the same length as where the pad of my finger sticks out. Because essentially, I really want to be picking these strings with the pads of my fingertips, not necessarily my nails. So if you're okay with keeping your nails a little bit shorter, you're gonna find yourself getting a little bit better tone. So at the beginning of the video, you noticed that I was playing a little progression. You may have picked up on this, but what I was trying to do is kind of take the volume and crescendo it. So I was starting at a low point and kind of bringing it up as I go. So if you haven't ever heard the word dynamics before, it's something you should start becoming aware of, because dynamics really can add a lot of dramatic elements to your playing, and it just kind of feels cool. So let me give you just an example of this, because we're going to try to do it as we do the play along today. So in the play along, we're going to do C, C major 7, C7, C6, and you can check out those diagrams below. So as I go here, I'm going to start off quiet and gradually get louder as I go. So take a listen to this real quick. So what I did there is I kind of scooped up the volume, and then and the second time through, I just kept it really nice and quiet the whole time. So how do I do that? Is it something I'm doing here with my fretting hand? No. What I'm doing is I'm just kind of changing the attack with my finger picking. So rather than going really soft, I'm plucking the strings a little bit harder. This is something you can practice on your own. We're going to do just kind of flat dynamics through one of these progressions, and then the second time through, we're going to take it and start quiet and try to work on gradually increasing your volume as you go. So as you're sitting here playing this progression or just working on this finger picking pattern, try striking the strings a little bit harder with your fingers and a little bit softer. So kind of vary your volume level as you go. Now this has nothing to do with speed. You're not speeding up to go faster. You're going to keep the same tempo as you go. You're just going to kind of attack the strings a little bit harder. So a little bit more delicate to a little bit more of an attack. So the first time through here, just flat dynamics. Think of it just as one straight flat line. Your volume is nice and even. Everything is very even as you go. So here we go through the progression. We're going to do the finger picking pattern 2 times on each chord. So 1 time through the pattern equals this. So that's 1 time through the pattern. So that would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3, and then we switch. So here we go. 2 times through the pattern on each chord. Here we go. Nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. Now from there, we're going to bump up the tempo. Still going to keep the dynamics on a flat line. So we're just going to increase our speed. We're not going to change the attack. Just keep that nice and even. So here we go, about 20% faster. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. One more time. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. All right, so now that you've spent a little time working on that progression just at a nice even dynamic, we're going to work on raising the volume as we go. So we're going to start off quiet, and then we're going to gradually increase our volume. So as we go through this progression, you should kind of be pulling at the strings a little bit harder. Not faster, but just kind of a little bit more of an attack on the strings. So this is something you're going to really have to train your ear with and kind of train your hand to do. So it's okay if you don't just get it right away like this. It didn't come to me like that, that's definitely for sure. So you spend a little time with it as you go. So just take it slow and you're going to get it. So here we go on the C chord, going through the same progression. As you go, every time you release a finger from a chord, you're going to kind of be pulling the strings a little bit harder. So here we go, starting nice and quiet. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Back to quiet. Gradually bring it up. One more time, quiet. Bring it up a little bit. Bring it up a little bit more. And now for progression number 2. For this progression, we're just going to use 2 chords. This is one of my favorite chord changes. I encourage you to use it. Try to write a song with it. Send it to me if you do. E minor 7 and A7. I just love how that dominant minor 7 changed. So we're going to do 4 times through the pattern on each chord, and we're going to go back and forth until I get tired. And this time when we go through this, we're just gonna keep a flat dynamic. So don't worry about dynamics on this one. Here we go. Nice and even. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2. Again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So now we're going to bump up the dynamics, not the tempo. So here we go. We're going to start off quietly and kind of gradually work up our volume. So when you're on the E minor 7 chord, we're going to stay chill. And then as we get to the A7, we're going to kind of have a little bit more vibrance to it. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Down 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Bring it up 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Back down 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, last time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Bring it up. All right, it's been such a fun series. I'm a little sad that it's ending, but I'm very excited because there's many more series to come. Which brings me to this question. Which series would you like to see next? Bar chords? Or maybe we talk about how to maintain your uke, how to change your strings, the little questions that I get from you guys about stringing it, which strings to use. We could do a whole series on that. So let me know in the comments below. I'll pose a question and pin it to the top of the comments, and you guys can respond there and let me know. If you guys like this uke that I've been using throughout the majority of this series, this Accolot bamboo uke, I'll leave a link to it in the description. I've been really happy with this uke. I just took a trip to Canada. I traveled with this. It has a nice little case, a strap, and it withstood the trip, and I really enjoyed playing it. I still do. So if you guys like how it sounds, I'll leave a link in the description. You can check it out yourself. What else do I got for you? PDFs, song sheets, worksheets. Check them out, allforuke.com. You can print them out. They're free. And last but not least, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Click that little alert button below so that you know when the next video is coming out. I've got so much stuff to share with you guys this year, so I thank you so much for sticking with me. My name's Kevin. I'll see you guys next time. Stay cool and keep picking.